this is Manindrabu from Batam. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
I'm Sela Sadakau from Vatupula. I only listen to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Gold Naka, I'm Vale and I'm working at Golden Grove Resort and I love listening to Gold FM because it plays a really wide range of classic music.
I'm Saini Sakio from Kashmir Wotoka. I like Gold FM, but only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Good evening, I'm Jackie Spade. This is FBC News. Tonight, Biman Prasad voted out as PAC chair. Prime Minister launches nationwide Fight the Bite campaign. And EU says commercialization of Fiji's sugar industry is the way to go. Government Whip Ashnil Sudhakar is the new Public Accounts Committee chairman, with Professor Biman Prasad being outvoted and then resigning on the spot. The leadership change of PAC came about with new standing orders in place and a reconstituted committee. Maggie Boyle tells us more.
8 months since the last Public Accounts Committee, and today's sitting wasn't without controversy. A new chair, a new deputy, 3 new members, and a resignation.
My role is over, and I want to hand the chair to the new chairman, Honorable Sudhakar, and I suppose he can then take the matters on from there. And my resignation from this committee is with immediate effect.
Using the new Standing Orders 117 subsection 3, Ashnil Sudhakar now takes over the reins of PAC, with fellow government MP Mohammed Dean as his deputy. The transition, which may have looked cordial, was not the case minutes later. Professor Biman Prasad airing his frustrations.
The Public Accounts Committee is basically now toothless, because what the change in the standing orders specifically says is that the committee should only scrutinize the report, Auditor General's report, as per the written law, and not anything to do with policy or any implications of those laws.
On the other hand, Sudhakar says it's business as usual.
He's entitled to his opinion, but you see, the Public Accounts Committee is not free to do what it pleases. There's certain rules for it. The standing orders provide the rules of functioning of the standing committees. The Constitution provides it. The laws of the country provide it.
With PAC now down to 4 members, the new chair says he will wait until opposition makes another appointment to arguably one of the more high-profile committees, which has had its fair share of press to date, and it seems will continue to do so. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
A new war has been declared on one of the main threats to Fiji's public health, the mosquito. A mosquito eradication nationwide campaign named Fight the Bite was launched by the Prime Minister in Suva today, encouraging every Fijian to get involved. Akusita Tale reports.
It's a war that every Fijian, regardless of age, needs to get involved in to destroy all mosquito breeding sites anywhere where water accumulates. Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama has fired the opening round today, as the stakes have never been high since the major dengue outbreak in 2014.
On top of dengue and chikungunya, we have a new threat, a new mosquito-borne disease, the Zika. It's very important that you take responsibility to keep yourself and those around you safe. In the daylight hours, with your repellent on, that's when we go to war as well, to join the hunt for those places where mosquitoes are breeding and hiding.
Priority areas that have been identified as hotspots is from the Nausori to Lami corridor, as well as the Singatoka to Ba stretch.
Take charge of your own surroundings, your own property. Make sure your grass is cut, make sure your drains and roof gutters are clear, and water doesn't accumulate there. This is a war that we have to win.
17 cases of Zika have been confirmed, and the numbers from the mosquito-borne diseases are expected to grow if measures are not taken.
It's a very tough insect. We've got to be tougher in this country because the impact that it can have on the health of our people, especially for Zika in particular has a lot of concern for women that are pregnant. It can have an impact on the children, and it also has the possibility of affecting another sort of syndrome that affects paralysis in people.
Parents and guardians have also been urged to take particular responsibility to ensure that children are protected at all times, as everyone is at risk. Ako si Tatalei, FBC News.
Fiji is not the first to launch such a campaign, as our Hawaiian friends have also used the same type of initiative. We now cross live to Akosita Tale. Akosita, what does the Fight the Bite campaign include? We understand that in order to avoid being bitten, we need to wear long, loose and light clothing and also use mosquito nets. So are you able to tell us what other things should be used as precautions?
Jackie, Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama also stressed the importance of the need to use an insect repellent that contains the chemicals DEET, IR3535 and icadurine. Parents have also been urged to make sure that children are protected at all times. Jackie, this shouldn't be taken lightly, as these mosquitoes are dangerous disease carriers and we must do everything we can to protect ourselves and our families. Jackie.
So true. Thanks so much for that, Akosita. The intense cleanup campaign in cyclone-affected areas has been taken up another notch, now extending across Fiji. The Clean Up Fiji campaign will now involve the whole nation as well as government ministries.
A concerted national cleanup campaign has been launched in the wake of Tropical Cyclone Winston. It will involve all government ministries pulling together resources to clean up Fiji.
To remove not only cyclone-related debris, but all rubbish, all litter that is accumulated over the years, and of course is despoiling our pristine surroundings and having a negative impact on our international image.
Major cleanups in the West last month have collected 261 loads of rubbish from 60 communities. 30 loads were collected from the 3 subdivisions in the north.
This campaign is not about cutting trees and putting on the roadside. This campaign is purely based on where the breeding takes place in terms of tire, bottle, tins, cans. So I would like to urge the ratepayers to take part in this, because this is the responsibility of all the individuals. It is not only the government or the civil servant.
The campaign will begin in Vale Levunasinu next Monday and will run for a month.
In the afternoon, all civil servants will be part of a cleanup campaign. They'll be physically leaving their offices and doing cleanup campaigns all over the country. Wherever civil servants are working, they'll be part of that campaign. And we hope that you can take this message and get all other stakeholders involved. They don't have to wait till Monday. They can start immediately.
Schools, communities, sporting bodies and religious groups are urged to urgently assist in the nationwide cleanup campaign. Akosita Tale, FBC News.
Permanent Secretary for Communications and Information Technology, Ewan Perrin, has left the government. This has been confirmed by Chair of the Public Service Commission, Vishnu Mohan. Solicitor General Sharvada Sharma is now the acting PS Communications. The European Union is focusing on commercializing the Fiji sugar industry to generate more revenue as well as competing with other international markets. European Union Sugar Coordination Manager Michael Parker says sugarcane in Fiji has a massive monetary value which can create a sustainable and viable market. Kelly Vavala has the details.
With the world market changes happening in September 2017, it is going to mean Fiji sugar will need to be exposed to stronger competitive forces.
Competitiveness is at the heart of everything, so you need to be able to trade sugar, the core product, raw brown sugar, competitively in international markets. So that means you need to be able to produce it efficiently and trade it efficiently. So that's at the most basic level. But you also need to consider the sugarcane crop, and you need to consider the sugarcane as an energy crop, as possibly in the future having specialist sugars or branded sugars.
Parker says they will continue to assist farmers in adapting to the new market realities globally.
For the individual farm plots, it's about getting as much sugar cane from every square metre that we can get. So it's not a question of just expanding area to get more sugar cane. It's about the level of intensification that we have at an on-farm level.
EU Ambassador Andrew Jacob says there is a program yet to be complete which will provide assistance to the sugar sector.
There is a program which is nearly finalised now, which is a program of 20 million euros. We're very conscious of the need to really provide support to ensure that the sugar industry, that the sugar farmers do recover as well.
Fiji Sugar Corporation is the government-owned sugar milling company in Fiji, having monopoly on production of raw sugar. It employs nearly 3,000 people, while more than 200,000 depend on it for their livelihood in rural sugarcane belt areas. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
The government will bear the full cost of transporting cane for all farmers in the Penang Mill area to the Rarawai Mill for processing. Prime Minister Vorengem Bainimarama has announced that the Penang Mill will not be repaired in time for the 2016 crushing season. However, farmers will be assisted with transport costs. Bainimarama says he witnessed firsthand the widespread devastation brought on our sugar cane industry by Cyclone Winston. He says it is the duty of his government to alleviate the sufferings by covering transportation costs for farmers who previously used the Penang Mill. Bainimarama says these farmers should still bring their cane to the Penang Mill to access the free transportation offered by government. And Fiji singer talks about rise to fame. Stay with us.
I'm Sarah, I'm from Tafwa, and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
My name is Freddy, I'm from Gamiatong. I listen to Mario on the traffic jam every afternoon.
Hi, my name is Salah, I live in Asinu. Today FM rocks.
My name is Denasa and I'm from Lutoka and I love listening to Today FM.
My name is Wulamila, I work at Golden Point Resort. I love listening to Today FM. It rocks in Raki Raki.
I'm Mary from Mandera. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
We love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
Welcome back. This is FBC News. The man suspected of stabbing a shopkeeper in Kinoya, Asinu, has been arrested in Nandi. Police confirmed that a team of officers from Valelevu in Asinu made the arrest yesterday afternoon. The man, believed to be in his 30s, is being held at the Valelevu police station. The 33-year-old victim, who was found by customers in her shop, is still recovering in hospital. Investigators are yet to record a statement, and the motive for the attack is unknown at this stage. Scientists estimate that half the coral in protected reefs around Fiji have been bleached. This as the world's oceans continue to heat up from the combined impacts of El Nino and climate change. The new phenomenon of global coral bleaching is caused by ocean warming. 93% of climate change heat is absorbed by the ocean. In Fiji, reefs along Vitilevu's coral coast have not been spared.
The El Nino this year, on top of our slowly increasing seawater temperatures, sort of pushed us over a really high temperature threshold. This is the worst bleaching that we've had experienced along the coral coast since Fiji experienced its first mass bleaching event back in 2000.
Victor Benito, Director Reef Explorer Fiji, says this year Fiji lost about 50% of the corals on our shallow reef areas, something which is of great concern for communities along the coast.
So it was a pretty severe event this year, the worst that we've really seen, and unfortunately it looks like this is just the first to come of the sort of impacts of climate change that our reefs will face.
Benito says the recent cyclones, as bad as they were, proved to be a blessing in disguise.
Zena and Winston actually helped us here because it dropped off the seawater temperature significantly and really helped save some of the corals that were heavily bleached but had not yet died from the hot temperature.
Benito fears the marine life that helped damage corals to recover last time may be in decline, and it is for this reason that Pacific nations need to take action to ensure their reefs remain sustainable. Are you applying for a visa to Australia? Then get ready to have your fingerprints scanned. Australian Immigration from this month has started collecting fingerprints and a photograph of Fijians applying for an entry visa. This is done for every applicant who shows up to the Australian Visa Application Centre in Suva and Lautoka. Those who mailed applications will be asked to come in person to provide their biometrics. People will be charged a service fee for their biometrics. With a never-give-up attitude and blessed with amazing vocals, Fiji's very own Elisavani Dava has finally hit gold on the international music scene. On Tuesday night, he surprised most with his powerful performance during the first stage of auditions on The Voice Australia.
To take on a Sam Smith song and sing it in his key, like that, it is so incredible.
It was something special indeed on Tuesday night when Elisavani Dava became the first Fijian to make it onto The Voice Australia stage.
This is my first time auditioning for The Voice. I've always auditioned for X Factor for the past 4 years while I was in Sydney, but I think I didn't expect to get into the blind audition for this season. But I think it's something that I thank God for, and I think it's always perfect in God's timing.
The 22-year-old, who hails from Navilada Northo in Rewa, was left speechless when not one but two judges hit the buzzer in the fight to become his mentor. Making his dreams come true, Elisavani chose his idol.
Seeing Jessie J turned at my blind audition on Tuesday was something that I will never forget. I've always watched her growing up on social media, and having to see her turn around was something that I thank God for.
Since Tuesday, Elisavani's public image has taken off more than ever, with support being shown from Fijians all over the world.
Firstly, I'd like to thank everyone back home for their support. It has been crazy having to see everyone messaging and texting, and I think having to have the support from your home country is something so beautiful.
Elisavani heads back to Australia next week to begin work on the next phase of The Voice Australia. One thing that's for sure, the attention of the entire nation will be on him as he brings a taste of Fiji to the international music stage. And Jamie is here now with the latest in sports.
Nakazaki, and good evening. In sports tonight, South Africa ready to defend Paris Sevens. And Tourism Fiji to capitalize on upcoming Super Rugby match. We'll have these stories and more after the break.
Ongonia saurara ondo wulwul tagchuna TV ni na market tawa ondo talitanga na warronga na Bula FM number 2 na sir Bula bana viti na dango plasio matairi ngona mai na bulo tabiuni au sa tunga nandi ondo talita na warrongo na Bula FM
Bula FM number 2 na sir.
The final member of the Vodafone Fiji Sevens team, Joshua Tuisova, has joined the side in Paris. Tuisova, who's also Pio Tuai's younger brother, will go through his first run with the team in a few hours' time. Coach Ben Ryan will test Tuisova before naming the final 12-member squad tomorrow. Meanwhile, Captain Jose Colinisao had a busy day in Paris soon after landing. The skipper was part of the captain's photo shoot in front of the iconic Eiffel Tower.
South Africa, England, Australia and Brazil are our crossovers. We haven't named our squad and won't do that till Thursday. And the overseas boys, Josh just turned up last night, so we're going to give him a run tomorrow.
Meanwhile, defending Paris Sevens champion South Africa is ready to throw in everything, including the kitchen sink, in its bid to close the gap on World Series leaders Fiji. While the Olympics is only a few months away, the South Africans plan to take things one step at a time. Meanwhile, Singapore Sevens champions Kenya will be on their hunt to secure its second tournament win in the series. Pooled with, you can watch the Paris Sevens live on Fbctv this weekend and catch live commentaries of Fiji's matches on Radio Fiji 1 and Bula FM. Tourism Fiji will take full advantage of the Super Rugby match between the Chiefs and Crusaders at the ANZ Stadium in Suva to promote Fiji to the world, not only as a travel destination, but also a market for quality Fijian-made goods. Rohit there with the details.
The tourism industry is making the most of the historic Super Rugby match between the Chiefs and Crusaders to be played in Suva.
Well, we're actually using the match to publicize brand Fiji, and that means Tourism Fiji and also promoting our Fijian-made products. So we actually get quite a lot for those two things. We actually get quite a lot. We get publicity.
This place is expected to be packed to the rafters with activities come game day, as Tourism Fiji and Fijian Made will promote their products to the thousands traveling tourists and to the 200 million viewers around the globe.
Obviously, there's a lot of signage things that will go around the ground in terms of Tourism Fiji and also just the Fijian-made branding that we have. And there's other little activities that will go on throughout the game and prior to and post the game. So
There are at least 6 chartered flights coming for the match, and this is one of the best chances to promote Fiji.
a lot of this is geared towards the audience offshore. So it's really the branding around the ground, etc. And there's activities that are attached to the match itself and to the game. So in terms of branding and setting up outside, we haven't quite finished with the program yet, but we will shortly.
The Crusaders play the Chiefs at 7:35 p.m. on the 1st of July. Rohit Dev, FBC Sports.
The Western Amateur Boxing Association has attracted some of the best boxers from around the country for its program in Singatoka this month. 50 fighters have signed up for what is expected to be a spectacle of raw boxing skills. Tsale Ndadakadaka reports.
Preparations are well on track for the Western Amateur Boxing Association's event in Dhubu on the 27th of May.
We hope to rotate this in the western towns currently at the moment, because our problem has been with rings and location. So I just want to thank Fayaz and the organizers from the Western Division for having the tenacity to have this done in Singatoka.
With boxing on a slow yet steady growth since its return from exile last year, organizers were pleased to also receive interest from outside the Western Division.
So far we have received calls from all over the places, like all over the country, boxes from Suva, from Overlau, as far as from Raki and Tawa, so from all over the places. So probably we are looking for boxers around about 50 fighters, 50 boxers will be participating.
It's been 5 years since amateur boxing returned to the West, easing the burden for most fighters.
And this is a great opportunity for the boxers to come in and then showcase their talents and skills. And all this time, we have been having boxers coming from the West, traveling to Suva, the expenses and all that. So now we are having it down in the Western Division. So it will make them, it's easier for them to travel a short distance and then come into their, tip each other off with their skills.
This will be the biggest event of its kind in the country, with over 50 boxers to compete in 25 bouts. It doesn't get any better than this for fighters wanting to test their luck in the ring. Tsale Ndadakadaka, FBC Sports.
And that's sports for tonight. It's back to Jackie now with business.
Fiji's status as the hub of connectivity in the Pacific has been reinforced with the point of sale between ANZ and its ATM terminals across 9 countries in the region with Chinese facility UnionPay. Attorney General and Minister for Finance Ayaz Said Qayyum says the landmark association between the two financial institutions will pave the way for the influx of Chinese visitors to our shores. Madhyam Bolaitamana with this report.
Last night, ANZ became the first bank in the Pacific to accept UnionPay EMV on ATMs, and the initiative has been lauded by government.
UnionPay, of course, has paved its way to be not just a good partner with ANZ, but also be a great facilitator in enhancing trade and commerce and, of course, tourism arrivals between our two countries.
The launch means that Chinese tourists and Chinese businesses now have the ability to accept funds that they would normally not been able to do so.
In a similar fashion, of course, it feeds into the tourism industry, where Tourism Fiji, of course, has got a strategy to enter the Chinese market, as has been highlighted earlier on. The Chinese are at the moment the largest outbound market in the world. And Fiji, of course, as you know, through Fiji Airways, flies directly to Shanghai.
For the ANZ Group, its ties with UnionPay thrives on convenience for the world's largest outbound market.
This is just the beginning of our good relationship between ANZ and UnionPay. I think the world is moving towards convenience, and UnionPay through ANZ Bank network in Pacific will definitely provide that convenience all Chinese visitors.
The relationship forged between the two financial institutions has been hailed as the catalyst that will draw the influx of visitors from China's affluent populace. Madhyam Bolaitamana, FBC News.
Fine weather prevailed over most parts of the country today. Lambasa was the hottest centre today on 33 degrees. Nandi and Ba closely followed 31 degrees. Savu ended the day on 29, while Suva was on 28. Tomorrow should see fine apart from a few showers over the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands, moderate east to southeast winds and moderate seas. And the further outlook is for Saturday, should see fine apart from brief showers over the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands. Recapping the main stories for tonight, Biman Prasad has been voted out as PAC chair, following which he has resigned from the committee. Prime Minister launches nationwide Fight the Bite campaign in a bid to fight the Zika virus in the country. And teams have all arrived in France for the Paris Sevens, which starts on Saturday. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. On to this week's poll question, and we are asking: do you support government's move to remove all credit history stored by Data Bureau? To answer, visit our FBC website. Send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. You've been watching FBC News. I'm Jackie Spate. Good night.
आपको खरगंगा के रंजिला का नमस्कार। रेडियो फिजी की सुंदर सुंदर यादों का खजाना एकदम बचपन के दिन याद करा देते हैं।
हमारा नाम जोनी नायडू है, हम रहता है मलोलो में और हम टैक्सी ड्राइवर है। हम सब टाइम अपन टैक्सी में रेडियो फिजी सुनता प्रोग्राम।
हम सिंगाचोका के हैं, हमारा नाम है रोजी। हम लोग यहाँ पे रेडियो फिजी 2 सुनता है।
राम राम, मैं रेमस प्रसाद बोलता हूँ, तब वतन में कोई रहता हूँ। मैं जब भी सुना रेडियो फिजी 2 ही सुनता हूँ।
रेडियो फिजी 2 देश की धड़कन।